Hello everyone, welcome in. Playing Ashitaka today in KAGI. We're in the pod phase. And yeah, welcome in. Hey Dinobot, pleasure seeing you here as always. If you don't know Dinobot, they are a streamer and YouTuber as well. Highly recommend checking them out. They do great content. Can't recommend them enough. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what deck I'm gonna be playing, but it'll be a fun one regardless. And they've got a game up here. And, should have some fun. Yeah, I have, well, actually, I wasn't expecting to play today. I've sort of been mulling over a couple of decks that I want to play. So, you know, I'm not entirely certain of how I want to take this. Like I'm kind of tempted to just like play something like Judge or something, you know, just like have some fun with it. Yeah, let's go. We'll play Velandholm, Pathwall Warrior. DT against the World Collide. Honestly, I'm not trying. I don't even say this and like throw shit at my opponent. I'm not trying too hard. This KAGI. I mostly just want to have fun, play some fun decks, throw some things at the wall, see how they work out. A little bit of testing. Okay, interesting. Universal Keylock, Graft, Strix, double Odoac, double Ludo. It's looking, besides the red alert, this is looking light. Red alert, twin bolt emission, the creatures. But this looks generally fair. Oh, and it's intertransfer platform. Okay, looks fairly light on creature control, which I think is going to be mildly favorable to us. Don't know about fully, but you know, mildly. And I love a Kinkin, round 1 Kinkin. So I'll keep. Let's see if they mulligan. Okay, so they do take the mulligan. And then, yeah, you know, we just put the Kinkin out. Oh no, not my Kinkin. Boo. Immediately answered. That's unacceptable. We will call Logos here though. You can draw one. It's fine. And then we'll get these two out. Now, Together is a card that I think is worth. Actually, it's not, maybe not even worth raising the tide here because I don't actually want to play the final. Might not want to actually play the final analysis. It's a lot of speed. So Scrambler Storm is gone. And here I actually just want to be building board. I think we're actually okay to call Starlines here. Not worth taking the chains for, but we can play Badge Magus. We'll Light of the Archons here. Badge Magus over here. Yeah, We'll get this down. Play together. We'll play you on the left. Play Light of the Archons on the Badge Magus. That's way better, yeah. And we'll zap to deal. So 1, 2, 3. I do love Together as a card. Oh, Together is so cool. I love Together. So what I'm thinking here is we play down the Golgotha. We fight with Badge Magus into Igor. And we fight with Golgotha into Kirby. Or maybe... So we call Sanctum. Because... Or we could do something like... We do something like play Lord Golgotha... Play Lord Golgotha, play General Salvador, play each creature not in a flank. Yeah, that's probably the way to go. So that on the left, do that. We honor our glory, we say non-flank. Oh, I totally meant to say flank there. That's okay. That's okay. And then we can happily fight here, we fight here, there. And then this can attack the Kirby and trade. Then we play this and we'll heal our Badge Magus. So here I think we can shifting battlefield. Yeah, we can call Sanctum here. So first we'll reap here. We'll shifting battlefield down the left. And then we'll fight Badge Magus here. So this can kill that and fight. So what can we do here? Okay. So fight. No, that won't kill. This is tough. Fight there. So I think we can reap. Fight here. Fight there. Fight there. Grand melee. Okay, we do Forge here. That's actually pretty nice. Yeah, we call Starlines here. We play the Agung. We can call Star Alliance here on Badge Magus. Call Star Alliance here on Golgotha. We'll ditch our static collection array. And I'm kind of thinking maybe we just Reap. And I think here we can call Logos. Do we ever want to archive, or are we just chill to play? I kind of want to just hit play, you know? Play the top card. Punished. Only card to punish. Rip. Okay, play this. Play the hold fast. And then we'll play you. Play you. And yeah, we'll discard that. Okay, red alert there does hurt me. Okay, that's interesting. We'll still call Starlines here. I will Officer's Blaster there. Okay. This creature, and we'll deploy left here, go up to 5, hit this, and go. Yeah, 1, 2 here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the PI Swevens were allowed to live there, like, I mean, they're pretty much through the deck, so not, you know, I gotta expect they have it, but yeah, I think it's 2 turns, right? No, end of your next turn. No, it won't stick around here, which is unfortunate. Hey, oh, hey Sam, welcome in. Nice to see ya. Yeah, it's the end of this turn, so we won't get to Forge. Universal Keylock too, those bastards. It's going pretty well. Playing some adaptive right now. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good, that's a nice combo. They do have graft. They do have a graft in this deck. So perhaps we're seeing that next time. We do call Sanctum here though. And this is worthy of a raise tide. Because we'll play that. Play this on the left. Happy to reap here. This is a 7 this is a 9 power. This is gonna deal hazardous 2, 8. So we can do this to force them to pop. We'll do this first. I don't know. They probably have graft. I don't think we've seen graft. I don't think was graft played in the reshuffle. No, graft is definitely archived. Yeah, knew it was coming. Rip. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's rough. Oh, well, not much we can do there to be... maybe there is, I don't know. Maybe we just reap 3 times and put ourselves up to 9. Yeah, I don't know either. I guess there's an argument. Maybe we just go to 9. Oh, and we can all win. Brutal. Brutal, and we can all win. Oh, thank you for the sub. I really appreciate that. Let's go. Got some emotes in chat. Yeah, I actually can't stop them. Yeah, you got turned out by the robot there, Dinobot. Yeah, that's a GG. Oh my god, Nightbot's going crazy. Nightbot is going absolutely insane. First. Man, Nightbot needs to chill out. This looks like a pretty good start. I think we start with the Saurian. Drop the Spiral. The Red Alert definitely wants to be well timed in this matchup. There are only second-class citizens to Nightbot in this stream. Oh, they played. That's a mistake. Right, Mo, but there's only one Tide Raiser, I believe, in the deck, so. Hey, welcome in, Flaxamal. You know what? Nah, we won't Exalt, because they will just fight that. We got some good old KAGI going on. This is game 2. Yeah, this is game 2. I brought V. Lindholm, the Path Volt Warrior. And they brought, they're gonna play Oak together. And they brought Layla Leon for Jules Daru. I don't know how to ruin the ruins. Okay, this is quite enough actually. No, I'm not muted. Yeah, you muted me. How rude. Ah, that Sweven has to die. DT Bessa, that's right. Man, this is not a good game. Brutal. We'll we gotta play the Star Alliance out. Exactly, Sam, yeah. No one will know. No one will know what's real anymore. All logos here. Play Tata Vapors. Archive the Frayne. Play the Igor. Yeah, I'll take the Wild Wormhole. Wild Wormhole for the Keylock. Okay, Wild Wormhole as well for the Chan. Wild Wormhole there. Grand Melee. I know, Dinobot. They're getting a much better roll, and I'm getting a much worse roll. I'm very well aware. Sure, but yeah, always Ketzer. You think I'm ever not blaming the RNG? Yeah, that is nice. I think their one source of amber control in Star Alliance is gone as well. Lindholm is in a very interesting deck. Yeah, I would let me forge here as well. I mean, I don't really want to be under the universal keylock. But what we'll do is we'll stop them from forging here. Because first we do this. We will play the frame down. We'll capture here. Play one here. Play the Archons there. Bounce the frame. And then we don't play the We Can All Win, but we will hold it. They play the E-Die down. Their Australis Seaborg is their only way of raising the tide for 3. Can I have a red alert, please? Shouldn't have fought that, I realize. Yeah, I fought that giving them the amber, shouldn't have done that. Not super clean play from me here so far. Yeah, we can take him off key here, but that's going to be a GG on the game. Ah, they're going to fight again with something. Gotcha. Yeah, they got a significantly better roll on that than I did. GG. Well played. Needed that red alert. Yeah, much better than mine. Say Levy? Yeah, Ashitaka was the adapter today. None at... No, not at all. Yeah, which is what it basically is. Yeah, there's no C. Yeah, I pretty much lost that game because I made them forge on the key lock. Oh yeah, yeah, or that too. Just didn't play well there. Which is what this deck does. Right? It's very much a runaway board deck. Yeah, there's not much we can do. Happens. That was good though. Yeah, I'm not that GG's indeed. I'm never that upset for losing in KAGI. It just happens sometimes. The better player won here. Posture check. Oh, don't do this to me. Exposed. You've exposed me. Yeah, hopefully we can see Ashitaka in the finals. It's always a pleasure casting them and seeing them there. Thank you. Yeah. Well, we can report that. We went and for those who haven't seen it, there's a new KAGI match report form that I spent some time going through and making. So this is for the Star Alliance pod, and the aim here is to collect a little bit of data on adaptive matches, which I'll try and collate and put together at another date. Sag. Oh wait, actually Ashitaka. Ashitaka should report this, but I will fill this out on stream so everyone knows how it works. So you got a KAGI match report here. I was in Star Alliance pod. Winner of the match was Ashitaka, who's in the match was myself. The result was a 2-0. Now, if we select a 2-0 result, we'll come here, and this is the data collection section where we're going to get the set of the winner's deck. So Ashitaka has a Worlds Collide. The SAS of that was absolutely no idea. Didn't mean to look up DEK, but we did. So that was a 78. Okay. So their SAS was a 78. Oh, there is 2 winners here. So this should be a DT. So I will change this form because this should be a yeah. This should be a set of losers deck, and then mine was a 62. I was playing. I was playing V Lindholm, the Pathful Warrior, which is a 62 SAS Dark Tidings. That's it there. And that's that. We can submit another response here. If we select some test ones, we go 2-1. We can see that we get a. When does the new set come out? The Game Found is slated for some time in the well, yeah, June, July. Well, sorry, June and July. June probably for the game found fulfillment, and then retail release is probably sometime in August, like Dinobot said. That'd be my guess, is probably sometime in August for retail. Well, the 62 didn't just take a game off of the 78. The 62 should have won the first game. Like, the 62 is favored. Wow, they have no more packs at all. Like, are they completely out of Keyforge product now in Improbable? That's insane. No more in Canada. There's no more Keyforge period in Canada. Wow. Well, I know they had bought out the distributor, right? There's probably some like tucked away in some small game stores, but none publicly available. Crazy. Crazy. That's wild. But yeah, I mean, Lindholm has a favorable matchup here. They have absolutely no C. This deck can flood a board and flood it quickly, and can very quickly run away with a board. They had a really well-timed red alert on that board. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. But no, if that wasn't for that red alert being as timed as it was, then we certainly would have run away with that game even harder. It was already close. Yeah, exactly. Down about their collector's pieces. If it wasn't for that red alert, and then if it wasn't because I played straight up into the interdimensional graft really hard, then I don't think we would have been in as nearly as bad a position as we were, and I probably could have taken that first game as well. I just didn't play it as well as I could have. But then that way, if it goes to game 3, we get how many chains are bid in game 3. That's not optional, but so it says how many chains are bid in game 3. Did the winner play their own deck, so I can know which deck is what I'm talking about? That's probably gonna be true for some of the low SAS decks. Yeah, that is probably gonna be true for some of the lower SAS ones. And then did the winner play their own deck, so I can figure out which deck is the one that took it in the game 3, and then as well, I would like to. Oh man. I want to figure. I guess I need to add some more to this. This is still a work in progress of a form, but yeah, we go through the same things, and yeah, that's the KAGI match report form, which I'll do some editing off stream for. Yeah, I got to make some edits to it, but we'll get some data. And hopefully with that data, and yeah, once the end of the season rolls around and we have reports from everyone, then I think we'll certainly have some good adaptive data. Basically, the things I want to be looking at are like, what sets are people playing in adaptive? What SASs are we seeing generally across the pods? We have 24 people signed up for this season, so like, what SAS are people bringing? What sets are people bringing? Do the higher SAS decks win more often than the lower SAS decks? Like, it's a double-edged sword, because I don't want to skew the meta and provide data that says you want to play higher SAS decks and adaptive. You want to play lower SAS decks. I want people to bring what they think is good. But it's going to be really interesting to see some empirical data from that. SAS does not matter. No, SAS doesn't actually matter. Well, I mean, here's a good example, right? This is a 16 SAS difference, in that in most games, the Lindholm should win, right? This is probably like a 70-30 matchup, 60-40 matchup for a 62 into a 78. So, oh, people absolutely think SAS matters, and like SAS is a fine tool to SAS is a fine tool to look at things through. Like, it generally sorts things well. Depending on sets, better. Worlds Collide is often inflated. Dark Tidings is underinflated. Same with AOA. So, you know, oftentimes really, really high SAS decks can be overrated. Age of Ascension? I love Age of Ascension. Age of Ascension, DT is my favorite set, and then it's Age of Ascension, and then it's MM. I hate Worlds Collide, and I don't like Coda. I don't hate Worlds Collide. I don't hate Worlds Collide. I hate middling Worlds Collide decks. It's the worst set to open. Age of Ascension is not nice to anyone in terms of SAS or like banger decks. I bought this one. I bought Malus. I bought this one as well. You know, I don't have a lot of opened. So, but it's really fun. And Age of Ascension Sealed is really fun. I'm someone who I love the gameplay of AOA, even if it's just like a casual AOA. Your 87 was a Call the Archons, Sam. That was your 87. Which is unfortunately, your 87 is one of those decks where, it's full of good cards, but on an average day, it won't feel at all like an 87. On like, you know, on a really, really good day, it's gonna feel like an 87, but on an average day, it's probably gonna feel like a mid-70s deck rather than an 87, which is unfortunate, but you know, it's still a good deck. It's just not as good as this number says. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just one of those decks. And Coda is Coda too, and Coda just has a harder time generally into. Well, Coda right now kind of has a hard time into everything, except for AOA. Like, Coda's good into AOA, and then bad into Worlds Collide. Coda Rush can be good into MM because there's no scaling A really. And then Coda Rush is also can be okay into DT. Just sort of depends because lack of scaling A as well there. But I mean, one of my best decks is still a 74 SAS DT, right? Like, one of my best decks is still the Crusader Judge. Yeah, it's your 89 DT, right, Ketzer? And you have something like this, where are you? Like this 76 Coda is, oh yeah, your Dark Discovery deck is quite fun. Like this Coda deck is a 76, but man, this is the deck where it can win, but half the time it just loses. And it loses so hard in the games it loses sometimes, and it just feels so brutal. Yeah, it is what it is. That's just Coda. Mateo Village Undertaker. Yeah. This is the kind of DT deck where it's basically just it's got good cards, but none of them work together. At least if I'm remembering them correctly when, you know, last I looked at this and tested it. It could be good, but it's just a collection of good cards, and that's not how DT works. Like DT doesn't operate the same way as, like, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna outvalue you with my card quality. It's like you do need things working together, which is why that's why this deck, the Stallion Who Goes to Cuisine, like, that's why I took this deck to 75 SAS Floor Reversal, the KFBL one, because it can high roll. Yeah, so it's got some game plans, but, like, you know. So, and the problem with Submersible Principle is that it doesn't even get you ahead. So, like, sure, and also it doesn't scale. It doesn't scale as well as something like a Doorstep, or yeah, if that was a Doorstep, it'd be probably a lot better with the taxing. But, like, oh, Anxious Power, you did get in here. Good. I'm glad you listened to the stream notification. Sometimes I just wonder if it's falling on deaf ears. Unfortunately, I already lost O2 to Ashitaka for my KAGI game. Now we're just discussing SAS and why SAS sucks. Yeah, I mean it happens. Basically, it was I was playing Vland Home as my deck into theirs, and they just they were just better. What can I say? My deck rolled well, and I never saw the red alert. You're good. You didn't. You're good, Astron. Yeah, that's right. And like the slow C really was right. They got a well-timed red alert against Vland Home, and that was it. And then I threw the game by not playing around a graft that I should have guessed they had archived. Or I should say I knew it was in play, either in archive or in hand, because they'd gone through the whole deck already. They always have it. Well, it was just bad on me, Floxmal. Like it really was. Like I really just didn't play it well. It was a known quantity that they had to have it some way. Either it was bottom one. Yeah. It's true though. They always do have it. Are we gonna discuss season 20 Hexad Lands as well? I'm actually. I mean, we can if you want. I'm happy to. I'm happy to talk some NKFL Hexad lineups. But honestly, mainly, I've got a big write up. I'm actually in the middle of doing a write up for that. I am going to have a video. I'm going to record a video about that, as well as release a write up. I'm calling it a Hexad autopsy. So I'm not showing it to you all yet because it is a work in progress, but a Hexad autopsy, where I'm gonna have the sections is gonna have a Hexad thesis and overview. So I'm gonna go over what my thought process was for, like, what was I thinking going into the season? What criteria for decks was I trying to get? Why I ended up selecting the decks I did, and then why did I include if and why I included decks that didn't necessarily meet those access. So good. You should be trying to provoke emotion. Emotion is what keeps us in as what are we? Parasocial viewers. And so then on top of that, basically a Hexad thesis overview, give an overview of what the Hexad was, what I was trying to do. And then I'm gonna have sections on each deck, and so I'm gonna go basically give a deck overview for each one that has some basic things. I'm gonna try and do a very quick brief keyword piece of what archetype do I think they fall under. Sometimes it's more general, sometimes it's hard to categorize. Their features, so some of the standout things that when I'm thinking of them, these are the main points I'm hitting that I think are important to deck, and then a little bit of a write up. Well, actually, a fair bit of a write up of the thought process of how I approach each game with them, what I think is important, what is the win con for the decks. Then go through that, and have a reason for including, that's specific to that deck. Because obviously the Hexad's thesis and overview is more of a general picture, and here's this is why I included this deck specifically. And then I'm gonna go through and do a review of yeah, exactly, Dinobot. I've been working on it for a week now. But certainly all the discussion has been nice. It's been nice to hear there is interest in that stuff. I do as well, Dino, but it's sort of hard in the moment. There's a lot that, you know, as someone who's doing all this cover, there's a lot to hit on all the time. Both the game state and like what your own thought process is. And then for each deck, doing a review of the performance. I've got some statistics, you know, just like some basic statistics. And then on top of that, a conclusion, basically just like a conclusion on like, hey, how did I overall, how did this deck perform? How did it perform regarding or fulfill its role regarding to why I included it and what the goal of the hex set was, and will I be bringing it next season? And then go through that for each of the decks, and then finally, at the very end, have a little bit of a hex set conclusion, saying, you know, how well does everything work out? You know, how well do I think? Is this something I'm planning on running back? Spoiler: I'll be running most of it back. I think. I actually don't know if all the decks are going to stay, but generally. And then also I want to touch on some of the stats that I think are some of the points that I would like to hit on, but maybe this is something just completely different for a completely different topic. Is like, I have one deck that I played once, got banned once, and never touched. So it had one of the statistics I do want to look at is match presence. So how many of the 7 matches was it present in either a ban, save, or a play? And like, this is the lowest. You know, it was in 2 out of 7 matches, but it's a deck that, you know, I'm really interested, and probably will keep with me going into season 20. So like, it's an interesting statistic, but I'm not even sure if it's something, you know, and I have a deck that's 100% match presence, but I'm not even sure if I want to be bringing it next season. So you know, some discussion around there where like, I think, just because you don't play a deck, or the deck doesn't draw bans, or the deck doesn't get saved or whatnot, it can still has a worthwhile space inside a hex set. And one of those pieces are, you know, one of the things that I valued was when because one of the biggest feelings in Hexad is like, if I'm picking these decks first and I'm left with like, you know, decks A, B, and C for games 2 and 3, do I feel like I'm often getting backed into a corner in game 3, where like decks B and C are a liability? Yeah, it's always a vibe check. It is absolutely 100p, always a vibe check. And it's one of those things with Keyforge. One of those things with Keyforge was really hard, because, you know, people try and do it with SAS, but it is just really difficult to quantify things in Keyforge in some of the same ways that you can in other card games. So, anyways, I've got that written up. Where am I at? I'm at. Got lots of words written down. Needs to go through some edits. I still have stuff to write for about half the decks. But yeah, it probably won't. I'll probably just do it in one shot. It won't be super scripted. You know, basically I'll record it in one shot. Maybe I'll do it live. You know, I'm sort of thinking of just like making a PowerPoint. And just, you know, having that on screen, just like, you know, literally giving a presentation. Will that be the flashiest? No, but I can do some editing stuff afterwards, to make it a bit more exciting. But so yeah, whatever works for my schedule is exactly it. It's sort of one of those things where, yeah, I just would rather get the video out than it be super clean. But I'll see if I can pull up my Hexad, yeah. Because this was my Hexad. We had Adaptoface. We had Margaret. We had Samir, Basilisk, Judge, and the Mister of Farhood. And so, like, my best performing deck that season was certainly Adaptoface. It played 4 games. It was 100%. It won all 4 of those, so 100% win rate. Had 100% match presence, where it was banned in 3, saved in 4. And in the 4 games it played, it won all 4 of them. So this performed really well. And they've got Margaret, which is a pretty classic deck of mine. It had 5 of the bans. It was the first ban in pretty much, well, in 5 of the matches it was the first ban. It got 1 save, and it got 1 win and 1 loss. Samir Samir is the deck that only got 1 play and got a ban. But this is a deck that, I don't know, there's something about it just really clicks. The Grim Reminder is fantastic. Shadow of Dis is really, really strong. And I think it's more and more. Like Shadow of Dis is just getting better and better because we have more and more play effects on creatures, like critical play effects, and just like lots of really board heavy presence. I'm sure. Yeah, I did play that much more in previous seasons, but it wasn't because. It was kind of 2 things. One of them was that I really wanted to play my new decks. So Basilisk and Farhad were new. So part of it was, if I was left with a choice between some of them, I'd say, well, I kind of just want to play my new deck. I want to test it out. I've played Samir a lot. Samir has like a 60% win rate, I think, in NKFL over like 15 games. So like historically, it performs quite well. But it's like, well, I just want to I want to play the decks and give him a test. So that was part of it. But I just think like the suite this offers is generally very nice. One of the things that my lineup specifically lacked is hard R. There's only 1 deck with hard R in it, and that is Margaret with the Neutron Shark. That's it. After that, the only other form of R, period, is Samir with the Nexus. So, they're pretty much, I am not giving any respect to Eaton's Jar decks. I'm not giving any respect to Quixel. Everything else I don't. Heart? Not expecting any hearts, though. Yeah, it could have been rough. One of the things that I'm sort of on the train of is like, or like Dav or Amphora Captura. One of the things that I'm kind of the thought process of is like, I feel like you may be playing Heart. You are exactly the kind of person to be playing Heart. Is that, if everyone here's the thing. If everyone is expecting everyone to bring hard R, and everyone is thinking, hey, I really need to have hard R in my lineup, or like multiple hard R in my lineup, so that I don't get trapped against artifact heavy decks. If everyone else is already doing that, do I really need to? Is everyone else's perception that R is really important? Does that allow me? Does that gatekeep enough hard artifact decks where I can ban ones that I don't think I can deal with? People aren't probably going to bring a lot of artifact heavy decks, and there was one Dav deck I played, and I don't think there were any Eaton's Jar decks. There were certainly none that I banned. So yeah, I think yeah, I sort of think like I'm not gonna. My main thought process is like, I'm not gonna sacrifice general deck quality for the sake of having more hard R. I think doing so is putting my lineup at a detriment. It's putting my lineup at a detriment for the sake of maybe reacting well to an opponent's decks. And A, there's two problems with that. A, I have to get the proper matchups with one of the two decks that has hard R, which A is a 1 in 3. You know, I mean, it's obviously not a 1 in 3, but it's like, you know, that is not good statistics generally. You know, you can work on it a little bit. Or it's a problem of like, if I get the matchup, do I even have the R when it matters? You know, if they have a Dav deck and they have 7 mutants, and they get Dav turn 1, and I get my Reclaim by Nature turn 4, or turn 5, or turn 6, or turn 7, and they've already played all 7 of their mutants, does it even matter anymore? Or like if they get Eden's Jar turn 1 and they shut down an important piece of my game plan, like I also don't want to play decks that are super weak to Eden's Jar. Generally. Yeah. Oh, exactly. And like I do have decks that, you know, they can do things with hard R. If we go constraints and we say a minimum of 1.5, yeah, we can say a minimum of 1 for artifact control. Yeah, you know, I think so I've got Margaret. We've got the Rook of Farslide, which is a very interesting deck. This is when I was very, very strongly considering coming in for the season 19. 22 creatures. Okay, C. The C actually struggles a little bit. Because it's Twin Bolt Emission, Neutron Shark, Crazy Killing Machine, Phalanx Strike, Double Mugs, and Vin does, which so it's higher rated than it really turns out to be. Again, the A is not super great as well. I really wish there was a better way to kill Bren the Fanatic, quite simply. If there's a better way to kill the Bren the Fanatic besides like the Phalanx Strike or the Twin Bolt Emission, actually I think the Twin Bolt Emission doesn't even do it. That's actually the best way is the Phalanx Strike or the Axiom. Okay. Yeah, and like for my decks, I don't really care about R. Also, right? Like Adaptophase doesn't have artifacts it really cares about. It has 2 Dominator Baubles. So what? Margaret has 1 Anomaly Exploiter. Doesn't matter. Mechanical Samir cares because it has the library card, the autoencoder. You know, it's got 6 artifacts. It's got Lucky Dice, it's got Miasma Bomb, autoencoder, library card, Mutagenic Serum. So 4 decks that 4 artifacts it cares about. That's 1. Basilisk doesn't care about artifacts. It has Forge Compiler and Essence Scale. Essence Scale is just nice on top. Forge Compiler, I'm not hoping to stick around on the board. I want you to forge a key and that's also fair, Astron. But you know, I'm not necessarily in a position to do that. The Crusader Judge doesn't like R necessarily. The Crusader doesn't necessarily like R. It's not necessarily, you know, huge if stuff gets purged. And besides, if people usually have a 1 source of hard R, that source of hard R is almost always getting used on Book of the Queue. So they're getting hit on Book of the Queue or Mobius Scroll. So, and you know what? Book of the Queue is the right hit. So even then, the Book of the Queue not necessary, just nice. So, you know, is it really hurting? It's not really hurting the deck's game plan if the Book of the Queue gets hit anyways. Mr. Farhood has the Gauntlet of Command. Again, it's nice. Does it help out? Yeah, it's pretty good. But if it gets hit by a Neutron Shark, that's okay. So like most of my decks didn't care about R. The only one that really cared about it was Mechanical Samir. And that wasn't the reason why it didn't get played very much. 3 to 4 Eden's Jars. That would be, yeah, I mean, that would be uncomfortable. But then at the same time, you know, like, you know, how you know, like, can you get away with not having oh, G field pick? Okay, that makes sense. Just can you get away with just playing through a jar deck? Maybe. You know, Judge wouldn't like it, but even then, you know, like I play against Jar. I play against Jar where they pick Keyfrog, and it's just a different game, right? Because Jar, the weird thing about Jar decks is that oftentimes, yeah, but the problem with Jar decks is that oftentimes most competitive Jar decks really rely on R. So, or sorry, yeah, they often it's like if the Jar has to do real work in order to get the deck to perform at its number, because Jar adds like 6 sass or something, right? Oh, I didn't mean to close that, but I have one Jar deck. Exactly. You know, exactly, Astron. I mean, I think well, and even then, right? Even if you play Helena with hard R, Helena is going to jar your R. So if you have one source of it, it doesn't even help if they get jar first. Like, it sort of feels like not only if you're really gonna go into hard R, you not only if you are gonna go into R, you not only need one source of R, you sort of need a, you know, critical mass of R. Yeah, Eden Star adds 6 sass. This is a 68 sass deck otherwise. This is a great disc suite, but like, this deck doesn't play like a 74. And if it doesn't have Jar, it doesn't do anything. Even if it has Jar, it doesn't do anything. Exactly, Astron, exactly. So it's like, what am I bringing hard R for? Really? It's nice to have. Like, if it's in a deck, wonderful. Like the fact that Margaret has Neutron Shark, that is such a nice plus. And like, you know, like, is hard R something that like is nice to have in an Archon solo deck? Like, if you're looking for like a really well-rounded deck, yeah, you probably do want one source of R. But we're not playing Archon solo in Hexad, right? We can try and maneuver matchups. We can ban problematic decks. So, like I said, like I just don't have a lot of good R. Yeah, Shark is fantastic. Shark is just really good. I agree. So, you know, this is a deck that I had in there as another source of art. This is one that I would consider bringing as well. The only problem with Jericho is that it can low roll. It can just get like really clunky hands if things don't go its way, and it's not fast. So the Boro has to show up at the right time at whatever moment, you know, the opponent plays the artifact. And then even then, Boro doesn't even super help against like Quixels and what do you call it? Quixels and Jars. It's really nice against something like a Planeswalker platform. That's wonderful. But, you know, it's not all that helpful for other things. So I wasn't punished for not having R this season. But, and you know what? It's also one of those things where Nexus and Samir provides a really troublesome problem for transport platform decks, where Nexus suddenly becomes a, oh god, I have to deal with this. I'm going to be bouncing either my Bonithing or my, you know, I can bounce my Infernus, I will bounce my Bonithing, or I'll bounce my Satellata. Or I'll bounce my Q-Max or whatever. Usually it's Infernus or Bona thing that's the most threatening. And like the Bona thing is really recurable, and so are all those things with the Grim Reminder. So I will probably next season as well. I mean, I'm giving you a little bit of insight for those of you staying in silver, but I'll probably have no R next season beyond Margaret and maybe Samir. You know, the deck I am looking to swap out is Mr. Farhud. What does that look like? I don't know. I'm looking to maybe a DT rush deck, and here this actually does have R, which is nice. So it might be a DT rush deck. This is actually really nice because it's a creature artifact removal, so it doesn't get hit by like Fogifies or is it Fogify? It doesn't hit a guy by Scrambler Storm or Stealth Mode, which is really annoying. So and also this is really nice because it's a creature-based rush deck. You know, this can be a very real 31 Expectant Neighbor. So we'll see. I think basically we'll see. We'll see what goes. On that, not super sure. I was thinking of Minafort. I kind of want to bring in more Dark Tidings. Minafort is really good as well. So I can come in. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Pretty happy with everything. Basilisk, really impressed with Basilisk. Didn't win everything. I think it was 4-3 because it played in every single match. I think it was like 4-3. Just really happy with Basilisk. Every single game it was in, it was close. And like, I'm really impressed with it. And it's really fun. Really like it as a deck. 16 mutants. With a Torado. This is the Forge Compiler where it's like, man, you know, I have had all 10 of these. Like, I have had all 10 of these Logos creatures on board, Forge Compile with a Fandangle out. And it just feels so good. You know, frequently cycling through the deck, just phenomenal. You know, one of the things like it's you know, I went in with this thought process, and you know, I can end my season saying, you know, it was successful, which is always nice. You know, sometimes you go and maybe you have a thesis that you're confident in, it doesn't go how you want. But I finished second. So, you know, it worked, and it was actually still very frustrated about this 3-0 loss to Lord Judo, which I am still of the opinion of that it shouldn't have been a 3-0. However, Taylor. But yeah, you know, finishing second is it's just a nice little bit of like, yeah, you know, like this thought process, this strategy, it paid off, and you know, I did manage to get open with it. So that's nice. It's always silver to crush, exactly. And I'm hoping to go into silver next season, and you know, flood them out. Like there'll be so many creatures on the board they won't know what to do with themselves. And it'd be very interesting to see if Zeramis is in my season as well. Gold is always scary. Yeah, I don't know what it's looking like. Oh, I guess I can go to the NKFL NKFL page. Where is it? Season 20, go to gold. Didn't the Sizelax post a list? Oh yeah. So in gold we got Lorenzo, Caveld, J. Philippeg, Sizox, Viper, Hydro, Spymaster, Bajan, ST Russell, U Astron, GT Russell, Aurora, Daniel 90RM, Usavo, Joker, and Dinobot. That is absolutely crazy. Wow. I mean, look at silver too. Like there is nothing in here that is not. Man, silver, gold, diamond, they are all looking stacked. Is there a season 20 tab? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Gotcha. Oh, that's crazy. And diamond, we've got Dick Rowland, Kristoff, Not Tonight, Emperor Riku, JDG, Karen, Gorlami, and Sock. So we've got 2 Sloppy Lab Work members in Not Tonight and JDG, 2 Swindle members in Riku and Karen, and then we've got Zoc from the ABR, Gorlami from Team Reapout, and we got Kristoff and Dick Rowland. Wild. And it's interesting because I think the SAS average, I actually had this season. I actually had a fairly high comparison. This like Alberto Campo finished 5th, 4th. Lord Judo finished 1st. Duck finished 3rd. So that's why you're freaking hard. Yeah, you love to see it. Although yeah, okay. I was gonna say if you're not in Karen's division. If you were in Karen's division, I'd say watch out because she's got a lot of hard R in her decks. Incidentally, she's got a lot of hard R in her decks. So I'm really excited for next season. And then I know none of my videos have been going up for my things, but they will eventually go up. Honestly, the season autopsy might go up before the videos do. But should have some fun. But it is 4 p.m. my time, and I should get going. But no, it's been a really fun stream. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you everyone for chatting. It was a very quick adaptive game, but we made up for that quickness with a really nice chat here at the end. So thank you so much everyone for coming in. Thank you for hanging out. And I will see all of you next time I stream. See you everyone.